Hello everybody, welcome to WhatCulture Gaming. I'm Scott, joined by Ewan.
Hello.
Now Ewan, are you a fan of Death Stranding?
I do love me a bit of Hideo Kojima.
Me too. Now it seems that even Mr. Kojima himself is having a bit of trouble understanding what the living hell he's doing.
I mean, I've been looking at each trailer and going, yeah, I dig it. Yeah, what?
I don't know what I dig about it. I kind of dig relieved on the mushrooms, and you grow the mushrooms and then you carry the babies and you shake them.
I did that in my first year of uni.
Yeah, they didn't get bigger though. It wasn't good. Yeah. But yeah, Mr. Hideo Kojima, talking to the Financial Times, sort of just let the cat out of the bag that he's very ambitious, he's getting out there, he's doing a new thing, and he doesn't really know what he's doing. So he said, even now I don't understand the game. It's worldview gameplay, they are all new. My mission is to create a genre that does not currently exist and which takes everyone by surprise, and there is naturally a risk in that. Now he has mentioned before that he's doing a Strand game, and he said that that's the new genre. So what's your initial thoughts on the man himself not really knowing?
I don't want to dunk on the master, the maestro. I don't want to dunk on him, but that's like me just creating a fart game and going, I've created a new genre.
Well, you'd kind of be right, I guess. If you're like confident, you'd sort of ride it out enough, the fans will come. But I don't know, for where I am, I mean, I love Hideo Kojima, I love Metal Gear Solid. He's obviously got some major missteps in the past, a la Quiet or whatever. And obviously, back in the day, there was the massive sort of switcheroo troll, but we kind of just went with it of Raiden being playable in Metal Gear 2 instead of Snake. And you kind of know what you're in for if you're going along for the ride with Kojima. But it is a little bit strange him saying ahead of time that he doesn't necessarily know how it's actually going to come together, and then maybe it's just a big old thing.
I have a question for you, Scott.
Go on.
Is he piling a lot of stuff on a big old bonfire with this game? Because obviously there is a lot of backing with it. We have loads of big name talent. I mean, obviously he's got his friend Guillermo to be in it. He's got Norman Reedus. It's looking, if these command big fees, and Death Stranding proves to, not be able to appeal to the mainstream based on the fact that even though it's catering to the hardcore fans of Hideo Kojima, is there cause for concern here? Because I know you're going to gobble it up either way.
I'm going to gobble it up.
Yeah, I have to admit, I'm a little bit lost at this point.
That's fine. I think most people are starting to get a bit like, oh God, but what are we actually buying? I mean, it's out in like a month or 2 months or whatever it is. It's very soon. And I get that, even for me watching it at Gamescom when it was like, this is Hideo Kojima, he's going to do a new gameplay demo, it's going to be this amazing thing, and then it was weeing on a mushroom and then nothing really happened. That was the tipping point for me where I was like, okay, I do need something more. But in this case, like you said, the amount of people he's brought in, literally everybody that's been on Twitter, it seems to be that visited his studio seems to have been scanned in. And they announced a Death Stranding soundtrack featuring churches, Edgar Wright's in it, Nicholas Winding Refn has been scanned in.
I just remembered, I know I just said that I might not be down for it, I just remembered Mads Mikkelsen is in this, and I have a huge crush on him, so that means that I have to play it.
Hey, if you want to hang out with a digital Mads Mikkelsen, I mean, he's probably going to attack you, but he's in the game.
Can I not befriend Mads Mikkelsen? Is that not an option?
I doubt it.
Live out my favourite Hannibal fantasies.
To be fair, his human version, this is where we get into Death Stranding lore, the human version, Cliff, seems like a nice person. He's the one who sort of established
You got Mads Mikkelsen,
babies.
You called him Cliff.
He's called Cliff in the game, that's his thing. He's Big Cliff, hanging out making the bridge babies. But yeah, the general sort of setup with this is that I can totally keep going with the Death Strand. Yeah. I think that the amount of money that he had after he left Konami, where he's like, I have this idea. He also said in a different interview that Death Stranding was the last idea he had. So he must have had a whole bunch of other things that he was going to do that assumedly would have been more straightforward or maybe more mainstream or whatever. But obviously Sony gobbled him up and said, look, here's a few $1 million, just do whatever you want. And he's just gone, well, I have a lifetime of being in a cage at Konami. I'm going to get all my favorite A-list celebrities and directors and everything.
Again, I don't want to bring this back to The Simpsons, but also it's kind of like
don't admit it.
When Homer's brother gave Homer the option to make his own car, and it was the Homer, and I think Hideo Kojima's right now with the Homer, and it's they're spinning around in a circle, and Sony's just there like, dear God. Danny DeVito is obviously playing Mr. Sony himself.
To be fair, the pose that Homer does in that moment is like, yeah, just riding it out. Like, oh God, right now, Death Stranding is that car. And I want to ride that car just to see what it's like.
Can you do the little horn noise?
What, like oh, yeah. I think that's the best metaphor anyone's used for the general state of Death Stranding, at least right now. Something to quickly tag onto the end, though, is that they are going to be showing more off at the Tokyo Game Show, which is what Kojima said when he was at Gamescom. Just the stupidest thing to say when you first come out on stage is that actually we'll be doing stuff.
Remember that other convention?
In a few weeks.
We're doing stuff there. Screw you, Gamescom.
I know. So apparently they're doing an 80-minute demo. There's going to be, I think it's 50 minutes on one day on September 12th and another half an hour on September 15th. 15th, and the bit in between is a big old interview with the voice actors and everything. But it finally, assumedly, will show us what the hell the full game is.
I don't remember there ever being a demo that extensive at any convention. That's interesting in itself, because maybe, Sony are a little bit worried that they're not communicating what this game actually is.
Yeah, at some point there needs to be a meeting between like how much of an auteur Kojima is and how much he wants to go down his own path and whatever, and then there's clearly the financial reality of like, what if this thing doesn't actually sell?
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm kind of game to see just what the rest of the game modes in that thing are and how it controls and everything else. So yeah, Death Stranding continues to be weird, and Mr. Kojima himself also knows it.
You know what continues to be weird as
Go
well?
on.
Bioshock.
Always.
Because we had a new juicy leak on about Bioshock 3, which isn't, even though it's the 4th game, they're calling it Bioshock 3, even though, we had Infinite. So
just pretending Infinite.
Yeah, just ignoring that. But yes, cue the spooky music, because according to Inverse, a new leak has been posted on the dubious website 4chan.
Oh no.
I wish I had a little lightning strike from behind me right there. But yes, they reported over the weekend that a user known as Zikion, sounds like Trachyon, he wrote that an anonymous source in 2K's development team revealed the announcement date for the title and rough outlines for its story, setting, and gameplay. So I've basically compiled the leaks here. I'm going to see what you think.
The grains of the salt.
Yes, so apparently the leaks corroborate Jason Schreier's Kotaku article. Remember when he did that big, great piece on Hangar 13, what happened after Mafia 3 came out? I would definitely recommend you read that if you haven't. But basically said that a bunch of people from Hangar 13 have been redrafted to do work on the next Bioshock title, which is, again, Bioshock 3, not Bioshock 4. It's basically the Borderlands 3. You know what Borderlands 3 was before they officially announced it, where they were just like, yeah, but Borderlands 3 is definitely canon.
To be fair as well, Infinite kind of didn't break the canon, but just sort of said like nothing matters and everything matters and it's all infinite and it doesn't matter. So if they want to get back to some sense of what do you even do for something after that, you probably do just go forward with where you would have gone after too.
Yes, basically it's slated to be announced between December 2019 and March 2020. Very odd that you'd have the idea of when it would be announced, but anyway. Production of the title started more than 3 years ago, which again lines up with what we saw with Kotaku. Inverse also posit that 2021 or 2022 might be the likely release windows. It's slated to release on both generations, so obviously coming out first on PS4 and Xbox One, and then kind of having a later release for Scarlet and the PlayStation 5, which again is interesting because most of the next-gen titles we've heard so far sound like they're being next-gen exclusive. Like the next GTA is apparently only meant to release the Scarlet and
I think the amount of time that's been in development, if it's obviously the case since Kotaku's thing, it would make sense. You've been working on this sort of hardware to get it out on the existing gen.
Yeah, but apparently Bioshock 3 is set to pick up exactly where 2 left off and will take place in 1971, roughly 10 years after the events of the original game. Which again, that's interesting because we're going back to the main series itself. Apparently it's going to be set in London and Rapture is coming to the surface, which again is, I like the idea of Rapture kind of rising up and infiltrating, into the vestiges, because apparently Adam is at work in London as well. So again, I'm down for two titans of the gaming world to have, Watch Dogs is London, and then we have Bioshock's London, and have them, just intermingle.
Assassin's Creed Syndicate's London.
Hey, you should all go play that. Very underrated game. Just saying, Assassin's Creed Syndicate, definitely,
the last of the old school AC
really,
mold.
really good. I've not played an Assassin's Creed game since that one because it was so good. Anyway, London apparently will be an open world as well, which is interesting. We're just going to go for the full open world vibe here. Protagonist is said to be an American orphan named Lucas, a London-based thief. Eleanor Lamb, Bridget Tenenbaum, and the Lutece twins are all make returns as well. So yes,
reusing characters.
Yeah.
So they're doing Bioshock 3, but it's not. But Infinite doesn't matter. But then the Lutece twins do, so they can do more kind of time shifty, cyclical stuff with them.
Yes,
sounds like a good mind bending thing. I am not cool with the Rapture thing, the coming to the surface thing. I want the underwater Raptors.
No, apparently, it's just going to be following the horror. So I think Rapture will be down, but stuff will be happening above the surface. So it's not literally rising up.
I was thinking Arkham City. I was thinking a chunk of Rapture in London.
Yeah, so apparently it's going to be rising up into London that way. Yeah, it's interesting.
Cool with that.
I'm kind of down with that. I'm also be very happy if I would like more Bioshock in my life.
I was going to say,
long time.
What do you think of how valuable is the Bioshock IP when it's removed from Ken Levine? Because I think a lot of only people like us know that Ken Levine is a major sort of force in that, whereas the average person maybe assumedly is just, hey, more Bioshock.
Well, the thing is, it's aesthetically, Bioshock is one of the most unique titles that we've ever had on the gaming medium. It's such an amazing mix of Art Deco and retrofuturism. Kind of reminds me a little bit of Batman animated series in a way, where you have that two melding of the minds. Obviously, it's more dystopic in this sense, but I definitely think that's an amazing aesthetic to pull from. And even though the main mind behind the series is not actually working on it, I definitely think that if you're going to apply anything to be mined even further, Bioshock is definitely one of those franchises that could persist for ages. And also, you know what, I'm just going to say, why don't we just get a System Shock reboot later down the line as well?
Well, they're doing System Shock 3. I guess we'll see what state that kind of comes out in. And whatever Ken Levine's doing is also a thing as well. But yeah, for Bioshock, there was always so much more potential, especially in like the modern age, to do like really cool like philosophical breakdowns of mentalities and motivations behind, I don't know, runaway governments or whatever. There's some stuff that you can sort of delve into that might be sort of furtive ground, even though Levine isn't involved in it. Let me tell you about Gears of War 5, mate.
Oh,
so we can
yes,
close out.
I've heard about this.
What an absolute mess that thing is. I love Gears of War 5, or at least I want to love Gears of War 5, but the general state of it, the playability of it, the bugs.
So it's a hot mess right now, is what you're saying?
The thing is, it's not as much of a hot mess as something like, it's not as dependably broken as something like Control, where like Control has frame rate issues every time you pause the game. If you come out of a pause screen, you're in single digits. In Gears, it just has the bugs, you don't know when they're going to happen, and it's like it has an autosave, but it has a whole bunch of different checkpointing issues, where the game will just hang trying to save. You can still control everything, but like, you know, the next mission marker won't trigger, so the door won't open, or the enemy won't spawn, or maybe you've killed the last enemy in a room, but it doesn't register it, so you're just stuck in a room. Loads of things like that, where the bottom left little cog icon just says like saving profile forever. Some people have said they can get around it by going putting the game offline, because then it means that there's less of a server sync, and I have to assume that a lot of people are playing it because it's available on Game Pass. Maybe that's like playing a role. But yeah, the weekend that I had with it, I had to reboot the game. I had to close the game and restart it about 4 to 5 times. Just ridiculous things, losing hours of, well, half an hour-ish of progress. Like, you know, because it has mini checkpoints, but I guess it doesn't class them as full saves. So if you have that save bug where it doesn't trigger the next area, the last time it did like a meaningful save might be the last major cutscene or whatever. So it's in a bit of a state.
It's a AAA Xbox One exclusive.
I know, and it's like the ludicrous like reverse poetry of it is every time I was about to like tweet something going like, oh my god, Gears 5 is brilliant, it's one of the best playing ones, yada yada yada, I would hit that bug right there and then and be like, I'm trying to help you here. I'm trying to say that it's worthwhile. It's like,
why won't you let me love you?
Let me love you, Gears. And like the amount of like Xbox One exclusives that have come and gone that haven't been worth buying the console for, that this seemed to be shaping up to be, and then they just, the level of polish, like it's so polished apart from when it's not, because it's brilliant until it completely kills itself and makes you reset it.
This makes me really sad, Scott, because I didn't pick up an Xbox One, but I was an Xbox boy up until the PlayStation 4 came out, and I have so much nostalgia for Gears and Halo and everything. And I was like, you know what? Maybe one day I'll go back to the Xbox One. I'll have a little go. But it's even if it plays well, that's such a shame. That again, it's kind of just it's unacceptable, really, if you think about it. Like, you know, it's your marquee title of the year for Microsoft, and that's just
arguably
really crap.
Arguably the last Xbox One exclusive, like the last major one, because we know we're getting the new systems next year. At least that's very heavily sort of going to be the case. And yeah, it's the last major Gears thing. I mean, there's a load of lore stuff in here that literally ties into the original trilogy. They totally clean up who Queen Mirror is and all that type of stuff. For all 6 of us that cared, kind of thing. But they do it in a really cool way, and it's like, the game, I would still totally recommend it. It just sucks that this is the case. So yeah, a lot of the sort of like forum chatter and general sort of Twitter stuff and everything around Gears has been, oh my god, it's brilliant, except for this horrific thing that keeps killing it right when I'm trying to enjoy it the most. So I guess be apprehensive at the minute, or wait for a patch if you're still thinking of leaping in. But yeah, I would still recommend Gears 5. But yeah, let us know what you think down in the comments below if you've been playing Gears 5 and what you think of Bioshock and Mr. Kojima just being Mr. Kojima. For now though, I've been Scott from WhatCulture.com.
And I've been Ewan from WhatCulture.com.
I will catch you next time.
Bye.
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 Bye. Bye. Bye. Bye. Bye.
Ah! That's all I've got.